Ah, the agony of choice. Sometimes it's so difficult to make a decision about what to read next. So I thought this time I'll throw it open to you. Hello, everybody. Welcome to and welcome back to my channel, Book Time with Elvis with me, Mark. And I hope so much that you're all doing very well. So, as I said, I have 5 books and you decide. So you're going to decide which one of these I'm going to read. Now, obviously, I'd like to read probably all of these at some point. But as I've decided I'm going to take part in Shorty September next month, I'm not going to be able to get to all of these anyway, and I don't want to have something started when I have to read a book a day throughout the month of September. So I'm going to throw it open to you. I've got 5 choices. We'll call them, what should we call them? Option A, B, C, D, E. Would that work? Or just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go with the alphabet option, shall we? So option A is this book here. Now they're all from my Kindle. So Great Expeditions in the Collections of Natural History Museum, The Lost Species, which does sound pretty good actually. And obviously I will give you the synopsis to help you make your decision, or maybe you've read it already. But let's go, shall we? The tiny lungless Thora salamander from southern Mexico, thinner than a match and smaller than a quarter, the lushly white-coated saki, an arboreal monkey from the Brazilian rainforests, the olinguito, a native of the Andes, which looks part mongoose, part teddy bear. These fantastic species are all new to science, at least newly named and identified, but they weren't discovered in the wild. Instead, they were unearthed in the drawers and cavernous basements of natural history museums. As Christopher Kemp reveals, in The Lost Species, hiding in the cabinets and storage units of natural history museums is a treasure trove of discovery waiting to happen. With Kemp as our guide, we go spelunking to museum basements, dig through specimen trays, and inspect the drawers and jars of collections, scientific detectives on the hunt for new species. We discover king crabs from 1906, unidentified tarantulas, mislabeled Himalayan land snails, an unknown rove beetle originally collected by Darwin, and an overlooked squeaker frog, among other curiosities. In each case, these specimens sat quietly for decades, sometimes longer than a century, within the collections of the museums before sharp-eyed scientists understood they were new. The Lost Species vividly tells these stories of discovery, from the latest information on each creature to the people who collected them and the scientists who finally realized what they had unearthed, and will inspire many a museum goer to want to peek behind the closed doors and rummage through the archive. So that's our option A. So you can put option A in the comments below if you want to vote for that. The Lost Species, Great Expeditions in the Collections of Natural History Museums by Christopher Kemp. So that's, as I say, our first option, option A. Next up, we have this one by Roderick Fenwick Owen. Oh, what a lovely century. One man's marvelous adventures in love, war, and high society. Now, this is a memoir that's been very much reduced. I was reading just the editor's note on it, that it's abridged, but I don't think an unabridged version is actually available for public consumption, because he wrote this memoir, for his family, and it went to over 1 million words, and they've condensed it down to 200,000. And he was saying a lot of it was more about kind of financial things and maybe stuff we don't need to know. But yeah, I normally don't like abridged things, but when I know there's not an unabridged version readily available, then you have to go with what you have. So you might be wondering, what is it about? I shall be happy to tell you. Are we ready? So, option B. For fear of growing up like his stiff upper-lipped Uncle Dick, Roderick Fenwick Owen, 1921 to 2011, survived Eton, Oxford, and the Second World War to become a travel writer, experiencing the varied wonders of the 20th century's people and places in that guise, frequently finding himself party to crucial historical events, including experiencing Nazi Germany in 1939 and the Pentagon during the Cold War years. His life featured a stellar cast of characters from Eisenhower and Jackson Pollock to Christopher Lee and Sean Connery. At the heart of Roddy's writing adventures lay his search for love, even if just for the night. He fell head over heels for and married a Polynesian princess while beachcombing in Tahiti. But when a dazzling trip in 1950s New York opened his eyes to the fact he was more attracted to men than women, he was forced to continue his quest for his soulmate under threat of danger. This was at a time when the police were prosecuting and imprisoning more gay men than ever before, including some of his friends. Lyrical, witty, and at times jaw-droppingly unbelievable, Oh, What a Lovely Century is both a highly personal memoir and a marvellous obituary of an ever-changing and now lost world that was frequently the best of times and sometimes the worst. So there we have it. Option B, Oh, What a Lovely Century, One Man's Marvellous Adventures in Love, War and High Society by Roderick Frederick Owen. So there we go. If you like the sound of option B, then by all means put that in the comment below. Next up, we have... I don't know why Amazon's the Kindle's decided to move it from the cover that I had it on. It seems to default open on this map. But next up we have Jack Renton, the 19th century sailor who became a South Seas headhunter, by Nigel Randall Evans. Now you might be thinking, who on earth is Jack Renton? Well, I will again give you the synopsis for this, option C. So if you like this one, of course, you can pop this in the comments below. A remarkable true-life Heart of Darkness story. In 1868, Jack Renton, a teenage Scots sailor, was shanghaied in San Francisco. In 1876, he was rescued from captivity on the Pacific island of Malta, home to a tribe of headhunters. After the rescue, in a sensational best-selling memoir, Renton recounted his 8-year adventure, how he jumped ship and drifted 2,000 miles in an open whaleboat to the Solomon Islands. Came ashore at Malta, was stripped of his clothes, possessions, and his very identity, but lived to serve the island's tribal chief Cabo, eventually as his most trusted advisor. For all the authenticity and riveting detail, however, it turns out that Renton's chronicle glossed over key events that made him the man that Cabo said he loved as my firstborn son. Mining the oral history passed down in detail from generations of Malaytans, documentary filmmaker Nigel Randall Evans has pieced together a more complete and grislier account of Renton's experience as a man forced to assimilate in order to survive. While Jack Renton is the story of a man transformed by an island, it is also the story of a man who transformed the island as he prepared it for the onslaught of Western civilization. Now, I'm, like you, probably drawn to the subtitle there, or the subtext, or there, Jack Renton, the 19th century sailor who became a South Seas headhunter. Well, that does sound jolly interesting as well. I mean, they all do. This is, you're probably understanding now why I had such a hard time, such a hard time choosing that. So that's option C. Okay, let's go with option D. We're almost done. And option D is, and the Kindle's done it again, where it's moved me off the cover that I had it on. Actually, it's quite annoying. I'm going to digress for a second because when I downloaded the book to think about reading it, Amazon changed the cover. Now, actually, I think the new cover is better than the old cover, but sometimes it's not always the case. It's very annoying sometimes when that happens. But anyway, option D is this. The House by the Lake, Berlin, One House, Five Families, 100 Years of History by Thomas Harding. Now, I've read Thomas Harding before because I read his fantastic book, Hans and Rudolph, which I highly recommend if you have a chance to read it, as it follows... well, I shan't spoil it. It's very, very interesting, but it's Holocaust-based, so there you have it. So what's this particular book really about? Let's have a look. In 2013, Thomas Harding returned to his grandmother's house on the outskirts of Berlin, which she had been forced to leave when the Nazis swept to power. What was once her sole place now stood empty and derelict, a concrete footpath cut through the garden, marking where the Berlin Wall had stood for nearly 3 decades. In a bid to save the house from demolition, Thomas began to unearth the history of the 5 families who had lived there: a nobleman, farmer, a prosperous Jewish family, a renowned Nazi composer, a widow and her children, and a Stasi informant. Discovering stories of domestic joy and contentment, of terrible grief and tragedy, and of a hatred handed down through the generations. A history of 20th century Germany and the story of a nation emerged. So that's option D, The House by the Lake by Thomas Harding. So if you like the sound of that one, please put option D down below. And we come now to our final option, and it's another nature book, which is this one here, 10 Million Aliens by Simon Barnes. So that's option E. And I like the heading up the top there, which I read to you because I don't know if you can really see it. Life on planet Earth is not weirder than we can imagine. It's weirder than we are capable of imagining. And I love that kind of thing. So what's it actually about? Well, it's actually just it's not a very long synopsis at all. It says what I just said. Life on planet Earth is not weirder than we imagine. It's weirder than we are capable of imagining. In this breathtakingly audacious book, Simon Barnes opens our eyes to the real marvels of the planet we live on. So that sounds jolly awesome too. And once again, that is 10 Million Aliens by Simon Barnes. So there we have it. These are 5 books I'm very much interested in reading as we head towards the end of August. Of course, I'm reading other things as well, but I love to read non-fiction, but I just cannot decide which one of these I want to read. So I'm going to give you that option. I suppose there will be a time limit on it. Depends when the video goes out, but let's just say that I will decide by counting up and totting up your opinions and your choices. Let's say I will do that by Wednesday, the 13th of August. And then I shall know what you have chosen for me to read out of those 5 choices. So everybody, thank you so much. Do have a wonderful day wherever you are and whatever you're doing. And I shall see you all soon. Take care. Bye-bye.